Okay, so let's talk about human behavior. What if some of the oldest ideas we have are, well, due for a serious upgrade? In this explainer, we're going to take a really ancient concept and look at it through a completely new, modern lens.
So let's start with a big, provocative question. What if the seven deadly sins aren't really moral failings at all? I mean, what if they're not sins, but something else entirely? We're going to challenge this age old idea and propose a pretty radical new way of thinking about self improvement.
And this right here, this is the crucial shift. We're getting rid of that old model of moral judgment, good versus bad, and we're swapping it for a new one, an engineering model. These aren't failures of your character. They're just inefficiencies in your personal system.
So, what does that actually look like? Well, it means you stop seeing yourself as a sinner who needs to repent, and you start seeing yourself more like a complex power plant, an energy system that can be tweaked, optimized, and upgraded for maximum output. I just love this analogy. It's perfect, right? These so-called sins are nothing more than the ways our personal system leaks, wastes, or just misdirects its energy. And hey, if they're engineering problems, that means they have engineering solutions. All right, so let's pop the hood and run a diagnostic on these 7 main energy leaks. Think of this as a checklist for your own personal power plant to figure out exactly how and where you're losing all that precious power. First up, we've got pride. Now, from an engineering point of view, what is it? It's simply data rejection. It's that system error where you refuse to take in new information or critical feedback because, it hurts your self-image. And what that does is it effectively stops all learning and adaptation right in its tracks. And just think about the sheer cost of this. You are burning immense amounts of emotional energy just defending a flawed map of reality, instead of using that energy to update the map and actually improve your life. Okay, leak number 2, greed. Or, as we can call it here, a hoarding glitch. This is what happens when your system starts to stagnate because you're just collecting resources, money, tools, even people in your network that you never actually use. And here's the kicker. All that hoarding doesn't actually make you more powerful. Nope, it just adds gravity. Physical and mental clutter that you have to fight against every single day, which just makes it harder and harder to be effective. Then we've got lust, or what we can think of as a sensory short circuit. It's basically an addiction to intensity, where you're trading long-term sustainable power for a quick dopamine spike. The problem is your baseline gets totally reset, and pretty soon, normal life just feels dull and underpowered. Man, this analogy just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Chasing these intense highs literally burns out your system's receptors over time. That means you need bigger and bigger hits just to feel the same thing, all while your day-to-day capacity gets weaker and weaker. Envy might just be the purest, most useless energy leak of them all. It's a complete misdirection of your focus. Instead of maintaining and cleaning your own solar panels to generate energy, you're spending all your time staring at someone else's, wondering why they're shining so bright. Let's think about this in computer terms for a second. Envy is a complete waste of your mental processing power. It's like you're using all your RAM to run a detailed simulation of somebody else's life, a program that produces absolutely zero useful output for you. Next up is gluttony, and no, we are not just talking about food here. This is intake overload. It's that paralysis you feel after doom scrolling for an hour, or the brain fog after a huge lunch. Your system is just full of input, but it's so overloaded that it can't actually do anything. Exactly. Your body has to divert energy away from your brain and your muscles, away from productive work, just to manage the surplus. You're not a generator anymore. You've basically turned yourself into a storage bin for excess fuel that's just bogging the whole system down. Okay, Wrath, this one is a big one. It's a massive system failure, a thermal explosion. We're talking a huge, uncontrolled discharge of energy with absolutely no productive goal. It's just pure heat and noise that, more often than not, causes some serious long-term damage. And that short circuit, that crazy rush of stress and adrenaline, it does real damage. It's like sending a massive power surge through your nervous system, degrading the wiring every single time. It leaves you exhausted, depleted, and way less effective in the long run. And finally, our last leak, sloth. And again, this isn't about being lazy. From an engineering perspective, it's a very specific problem. Initiation failure. It's when the inertia of comfort is just so strong that your system fails to turn the engine on and get started on something productive. Because you have to understand, inaction is never neutral.
Energy that doesn't move becomes toxic. Just like a stagnant pond, a system that's not in motion starts to fester with byproducts like worry and fear, polluting your whole internal environment.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the leaks. Now what? How do we actually use this? Well, the goal isn't to become some kind of perfect saint overnight. It's way simpler. It's just about starting to think like an engineer and running some quick diagnostics on your own system.
So try this. It's a really simple diagnostic. Just look back over your last 24 hours. Where did your energy actually go? Did you spend an hour defending a mistake instead of just fixing it? Did you waste your brain's processing power comparing yourself to someone online? This quick audit is going to help you pinpoint the biggest energy leaks in your daily operation. And all of this, when you really get it, leads to a final, really powerful shift, not just in how you do things, but in what the ultimate goal even is.
See, the goal is no longer moral perfection. I mean, that's an impossible and often paralyzing target anyway, right? The new goal is just operational efficiency. It's not about being a saint. It's about being a really effective engineer of your own life and your own energy.
So at the end of the day, here's what it all boils down to. Sins are just entropy, the natural tendency of any system to fall into disorder. And virtue, then, is simply efficiency. You're not fixing your flaws to please some external judge. You're patching the leaks because you're just tired of being a leaky, low-voltage version of yourself, and you want more energy to build the life you actually want.
And that, of course, leaves us with the most important question of all, the one for you. Based on your own little energy audit, what's the single biggest leak in your system right now? And more importantly, what's the first engineering fix you're going to apply? The power, as you can see, is entirely in your hands.